Good morning, everyone. Dr. John Asplund here on Friday, December 11th, 2020. And I'm here today to talk about the survey that we sent out on Wednesday. And we really need that back by Monday morning by 9 o'clock. So hopefully you take it by then. And it's really important that you take it individually for each child that you have in school, because we understand that some families would have different needs for different children, depending on the grade level, their child's health level, all sorts of different factors. So we want to make sure that you answer that individually for each of your children. And it's really important that we get an understanding of how many students are planning to come back third quarter. And one of the things that I guess we didn't explain in the survey that I want to make sure I explain today, that if you say that you're committing to have your child here third quarter and then your circumstances change, you could always pull them back out. Our big concern is we really can't have people saying that they're not going to have them come in and then enter them back in, because we really need to have a maximum number of knowing how many students are going to be in the buildings. So when we say commit, you could always change your mind and pull them back out, but you can't decide after you've said they're going to be out to say they're coming back in. So we really need to know a maximum number of students that are going to be here. And I understand that there's a lot of concern about, well, I don't even know what the plan is to be able to say if my kid's going to be coming. I get that. But until we know how many students are coming, we can't really definitely tell you what the plan is, because it would very much vary based on who is going to be here and how many people are going to be here. And we've gotten some questions about, well, if I opt out, is my child going to continue with their teacher? Our goal is yes, but once again, it's very much dependent on how many students opt out. If we only had 2 or 3 students in a grade level opt out and we had a very small number, we will make a different decision based on that very small number versus having a larger number of students that are going to be out. We started the year with the plan that we wanted to have everybody on their Seesaw or Google Classroom or Moodle, so that's the bedrock of anything that's going to go on for the rest of the year. We would like to continue with that because we need as much consistency as humanly possible. So that's really part of the goal. So our idea is that if your child is coming to school, it's more for one-on-one assistance. It's really for that teacher interaction. We don't expect the teacher to teach to this group in a large mass and then teach to an online group. We don't believe that's really effective. So the bulk of the content will still be online. The teacher will be there more as a resource when your child comes to school. So once again, it'll really depend on how many students are going to be coming on a given day. We had said that we'd start with 25%, but quite honestly, we may start with more. It will depend on a lot of factors, but the minimum would be 25%. But we're going to try to get it up to as many students as possible as soon as possible. But we have other factors in play too. Right now, by my count, before I started the video, I believe we have 22 staff members that are currently quarantined. So that's going to impact us greatly, and we're going to make different decisions based on what grade level that staff member is. So let's say hypothetically we start school on January 19th and we're in person, and your child's in 3rd grade and your child's 3rd grade teacher isn't able to come to work. Well, we're probably going to tell you to just go ahead and keep your child at home. Whereas if your child's an 8th grader at Churchill and their English teacher isn't able to come, but all their other teachers are able to come, we'll probably still say, you know what, you can bring your child to school, and we'll have to have some workaround for the teacher that has to stay home. So it's very much a dynamic, fluid process, and every day we get new information. So it's really difficult to give everybody a concrete answer, because if we gave you a concrete answer today, I promise you tomorrow that answer would be different because of all the circumstances that we have to work through. And if we do come back, when we do come back, it's going to be a shortened day because we have a lot of other issues that we have to work through, like how are we going to quarantine students that come to school that really aren't supposed to be there because they have a fever or they exhibit some of the symptoms of somebody who's COVID positive. We're going to have a place to quarantine those kids and then try to figure out how to get them home. We're going to have more nurses here. We're going to have a lot of these things staffed that we're currently having trouble finding staff members for a lot of things too. So that's another wrinkle in this that a lot of you probably don't even think about, that the workforce is diminished, that we don't have the ability to get everybody back that we want to have back on the day that we want them back. So there's a lot of factors in play that we're really trying to deal with. How to deal with lunch, how to deal with passing periods. It depends once again on how many students are here and how long the day is. So the moment we know what the committed number of students is, we can work on putting the final touches on whatever plan has to be put out, and then we'll try to communicate that to you as soon as humanly possible. and we've had questions on, well, I need to know what day my kid's going to be coming to school. There's just no way we can tell you that right now. So really what we're looking for right now is, given all the factors that are out there, in a perfect world, do you believe your child will be coming to school? And either answer is completely acceptable. We understand that there are people who absolutely don't want their children to come to school. We understand there's people who want their children in school 5 days a week for 7.5 hours a day. And we know there's people all in between those two extremes. So we're trying to work with the reality that we know we're not going to get the perfect plan for everybody, but we're trying to get to something that is workable, that we can maintain. Because I know other districts around us, and talking to those superintendents and looking at what's happened there, every district has had to come in and out of in-person learning just because of quarantining situations. And so we want to be able to have a manageable process and plan that we don't have to move in and out all the time as much as humanly possible, because we want that consistency for you and for your children. And we know this year is anything but consistent, but we're trying to work with an imperfect system and give you the best product that we can on something on which you can rely for as long as humanly possible. So please fill that survey out. And the deadline once again is Monday at 9 in the morning. And next week on my video, I will be able to tell you what the results of that survey were, and maybe give you a little bit better insight into what direction we're leaning in terms of how that plan is going to flesh itself out based on the numbers we see on Monday. As of right this minute, I believe we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,400 surveys that have been returned, and we appreciate that. But that means we still have about 2,700 surveys that are still out there. So less than half have been returned. We really need to get those back. There is some time, but that deadline is approaching because it's Monday at 9. So signing off on a warmer day today, on a Friday, for considering it's in the middle of December. I think looking at the forecast next week doesn't look so kind. But signing off for today on Friday, December 11th, Dr. John Asplund.